Get ready for your daily dose of marketing strategies and tactics from entrepreneurs with the guile and experience to help you find success in any marketing capacity. You're listening to Marketing School with your instructors, Neil Patel and Eric Su.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 interview questions you should ask before you hire a marketer. So number 1, this is probably my most effective question. Number 1, tell me about the most impressive win in your career, right? So in this scenario, let's say there's somebody, we're hiring like a VP, for example. And I want to know what they consider impressive. I want to know what details they go into. I want to see what metrics that they're talking about. And also I want to get the feeling, right? Like what kind of feeling do I get after they tell me their most impressive win? This shows you where they're at. This is a question that Elon Musk uses. What's their most impressive win? What's big to them, right? If big to them is not what's big to you, and it's not impressive to you, it's probably not the right fit. Now, you're probably wondering, well, sure, this is good for more mid-senior level people and above that have experience. What about people that are junior? Simple. In that case, I'll tailor the question down and I say, what do you consider the most impressive win in your life thus far? Right? I want to know, for example, if I'm hiring someone out of high school, if I'm hiring somebody from college, for example, I want to know, did they lead a team? Were they part of sports, for example? What's their biggest win? Maybe they went on a mission, for example. Often think, the impressive gauge as well is also looking at what stage of life are they at, right? You want to be stage appropriate. So if they're in high school or college, then you'll tailor something more towards where they're at. But if you're hiring a VP and they give you like a mid-senior level kind of response, they're probably not the right fit for a VP.
One thing I like doing is I ask them, what would you change with my business or my website? Like, how would you fix it? How would you make it better? And if they can't give you very specific, actionable, detailed items, they didn't do their homework. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, I need to look at the website or I need to see it before I give you responses. I pull up a laptop and I'm like, here you go. I'm like, tell me now. If they can't figure it out on the spot, I don't care to work with them. In business, people have to come up with solutions at the most inconvenient moments, when they're not prepared, when they don't have time to really analyze, look things over. And if someone's not one of those on-the-spot type of thinkers, I don't want to work with them.
Number 3, I always like to ask, and by the way, I'll backtrack a second. So one thing you can do, I use a video interviewing tool called Spark Hire, and it allows me to use the question that Neil just asked. And basically what I can do is if they come in and I tell them to evaluate the website, well, it's going to ask them the question and it's going to say there's going to be a timer that's set. So the timer might be from anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes. In this scenario, I'm only going to give them a 5-minute timer. They only get 1 minute to respond back to me. So they get 5 minutes to evaluate. Then they have to think of a concise answer within 1 minute. Once they only get 5 minutes, it's good because it's like they don't get to fish for answers from other people, get a custom tailored answer from one of their marketing expert friends. It's just boom, 5 minutes and you got to answer right then and there. And also you got to keep it concise. My question is, what marketing blogs do you read? So I want to know, because one of our core values is centered around growth and learning. I want to know what they're reading, right? If they can't give me anything, they're like, oh, well, I don't really read any blogs. I just like to execute. Great, that's fine. Probably not the right fit for us. But for us, it's people that are constantly looking to challenge themselves, constantly looking to learn. If you're not reading, if you're not growing, you're dying.
One of the best skill sets I found in marketers is creativity. And I found it really hard to teach creativity. So I always ask people either A, what's the most creative marketing tactic that you've ever implemented? And B, what's the most creative marketing tactic you've ever seen on the web? That just shows me the type of thinker they are. If they give me like a response like, oh, so-and-so spent X dollars and here's how they optimize and they got X type of return, that's very analytical. And that's fine. You want marketers to be analytical. But a lot of these solutions that most analytical minds go to, like Google AdWords, doing paid ads, etc., SEO, right? They're long-term strategies or they're strategies that cost a lot of money. So you want quick results. You can't always wait 6 months or a year before you start seeing results in marketing. You need people who are creative. And if these guys can't think creatively, they're not going to help you solve the problems, especially when you have a small or little to no budget.
Situational questions. So what I like to do here is, depending on what kind of role that they're interviewing for, let's say they're interviewing for PPC, for example. So I might say, well, okay, I'm going to come up with a situational question here. Let's say you're optimizing for the keyword red shoes. what are some things you can do to increase quality score in Google AdWords? So it might be something targeted there. But the key thing is you're thinking of situational questions and you want to see how they think, what their thought process is. And in some cases, you might ask them something, really random, such as how many basketballs do you think there are in the United States? You just want to see how they think. There's really no right or wrong answer for it. Just interested to see how their thought process is.
Another thing I like asking, it's more so to try to figure out how aggressive of a marketer they are. Some marketers will push the boundaries. I'm one of them. Some are really conservative. And you need to know what kind of person you're working with, depending on the stage you are, right? Startups, they tend to be really aggressive. Airbnb scraped all of Craigslist. That's creative, right? But as a larger company, you don't want to do those kind of tactics. So I like asking people questions that help me determine how aggressive of a marketer they are, such as like, have you ever bought paid links? And do you think there's ever a time and a place to buy them? Another question I may end up asking is like, what's the most shadiest marketing tactic you've seen or that you've leveraged? Or finding out like, do you believe in just doing white hat techniques, gray techniques, black techniques? And what are some of the gray techniques that you would recommend that, our company or we use within our business? And they may not be comfortable and they may tell you none and they may give you a reason why. And that could be great if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone a bit aggressive, they're like, oh, I would scrape Craigslist or do X, Y, and Z. And you know what? If that's what you need to grow, then so be it. That person could be a great fit.
Last but not least, I always like to get people to do a homework assignment afterwards because no matter how good they are at interviewing, it's some people are just so good at the interviewing portion and some people suck at it, but they might be really good at the execution. You just don't know until they actually start to do the work. So I do a homework assignment. It might be like a 1 week trial. It might be 2 weeks, but you pay them for their time too, right? So they might do this after hours and you'll track them through a time tracker and you'll say, okay, why don't you try optimizing this account? Or you can do like an SEO audit for us. Whatever it is exactly, you want to see how it is. You want to see how they communicate with you and what the actual work looks like. So you get an idea of how to interact with your team and you get to see the actual work, which is what you don't see in an interview. So don't think that just because you're done with the reference checking, you're done with the interview process, everything looks kosher, you're ready to hire them. Ultimately, sometimes, when they go through the homework assignment, you realize, wow, it's not the right fit. And that's when you move on. So anyway, I think that's 7. So that's it for today's episode of Marketing School. We'll see you tomorrow.
This session of Marketing School has come to a close. Be sure to subscribe for more daily marketing strategies and tactics to help you find the success you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you in class tomorrow, right here on Marketing School.